Yes, Newsweek, please tell me why the Biden administration is handing out free crack pipes. That's right. The Biden administration is handing out free crack pipes in a $30 million program. Safe smoking kits will be delivered to people. And this is confirmed, established mainstream news. Newsweek is saying, I just want to, make sure you guys hear me on this one. The Biden administration is handing out free crack pipes. Okay. Heaven forbid someone go to a doctor and be prescribed horse medicine. That's the line. But the Democratic administration giving out crack pipes. Yeah, I just sometimes I don't even know. Does any of this really matter? We're at this point where we're sitting here struggling in this fight over our culture, over the future of this nation, over the future of this planet. And we have currently a president who has decided it is appropriate to do a major spending program that will include giving crack pipes to people. Yo, how about you not give them crack pipes, don't send them to prison for being addicts, and give them help? No. Look, I understand, methadone clinics. I understand people who are addicted to opiates. You need to bring them down. You don't want withdrawal. And I can certainly understand that's true for many, many drugs. But this is just all out insanity. Now, what really makes this story insane, okay, because I can show you Newsweek why the Biden admin is handing out free crack pipes. We've got this from My State Line. Once again, a NewsGuard certified story, of course. Biden admin funds program to hand out crack pipes. We have this story from The Independent. GOP outraged. A $30 million Biden plan to fund crack pipe distribution in effort to reduce drug harm. We have Marsha Blackburn demanding answers regarding reports of Biden's taxpayer-funded crack pipe distribution. It's really, really interesting. Because it seems that this is all confirmed, established, mainstream news. And then we have our good friends over at Snopes.com. And what are our good friends over at Snopes.com saying? Did the Biden administration fund crack pipes to advance racial equity? News reports in February 2022 grossly misrepresent the facts about a federal harm reduction program. Mostly false. Mostly false. Okay, wait, hold on a minute. I got Newsweek right here, brother. I got Newsweek. I got The Independent. I got the GOP pouncing on the story. How is this mostly false when you have confirmation from mainstream press and when you have news stories smearing conservatives for being angry about it? Snopes is lying garbage. Garbage. Maybe garbage is an insult to garbage. Maybe Snopes is more like the scum that festers and grows beneath the pile of garbage. Maybe that's better. Sewage? Ooh, they're the gunk that grows somehow inside the sewer from the refuse. Newsweek reports, the Biden administration will provide grant funding to pay for the distribution of safe smoking kits as part of efforts to reduce harm from substance abuse over the next 3 years. A number of conservative news outlets reported in recent days that the administration would fund the distribution of crack pipes for drug users as part of a push to advance racial equality. No. No one said equality, Newsweek. Who's the editor on this one? Come on, get your facts straight. It's equity, not equality. They're different things. Equality is when people are treated fairly and equally. Equity is when you strip people of their rights to force them into a box so that they're forced into a position of equality. Different things, they say. However, safe smoking kits are just one piece of equipment on a list of 20 items the Department of Health and Human Services outlined on the grant application for its harm reduction program. The primary purpose of the program, to reduce the risk of infection among users. I'm certain that we all understand it's actually a lot more than just crack pipes. Yes, there's many things in this kit that, make people angry, I guess, and they don't agree with. This is the weird thing to me. Personally, I understand wanting to give people safe access to doing drugs to reduce the problems we see in the periphery of drug use. I understand that point. I don't think this is how you go about doing it. And thus, I would be critical of a plan that would give out any of this stuff. I don't understand how they're coming out. Conservatives are obviously being like, so here's the thing they're giving out. Crack pipes are among the list. That's not a good thing. You shouldn't do that. And they say, actually, everybody, they're giving out more than just crack pipes. That just makes it worse. It's it's remarkable that the mainstream media's response is, well, we know you're mad about the crack pipes, but we are giving them syringes too. It's like, I don't think that's better for your argument. The people who don't like that you're giving drugs and tools and paraphernalia to people are equally concerned about all of it, but just highlighted one portion, the crack pipes. Truly an astounding and amazing world we live in. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, part of the HHS, issued a notice of funding for the 2022 Harm Reduction Program grant on December 8th. The deadline for applications was February 7th, which may explain why it was a subject of recent reports. The 75-page application, which is still available to read online, explains that eligible applications for the grant include state, local, and tribal governments, as well as tribal organizations and community-based organizations, among others. The purpose of the program is to support community-based overdose prevention programs, syringe service programs, and other harm reduction services, the document said. I want to make a point. Like, I think banning guns is wrong. I think that people have a right to keep and bear arms. And I would like to see harm reduction for, gun violence and accidents and all that stuff. But I think people have a right to this. But I'm only somewhat joking. I'm actually joking when I say the government should be giving out guns, by mandate. My point there is, I'll often say, like, there should be a Department of Gun Services where when you turn 16, you walk in and they say, here's your gun, sir, and here's your box of ammo and all that stuff. That's sort of the big ask. The point I make there is, I just want my right to keep and bear arms to be uninfringed by government. And because the Democrats are always pulling towards gun control, and because Republicans are always saying, no, wait, don't, we gradually move in the direction of gun control. Thus, demanding universal gun distribution would pull us back into the direction and maybe lead us right in the middle where, if you come out and you say, I demand the government pay for everyone's guns, then the Democrats might be, okay, we'll settle with you have to buy your own guns. That's kind of the point, right? I don't actually think the government should be going around handing guns to people. Now, as when it comes to harm reduction services, I certainly think we can try to destigmatize, decriminalize, in a certain sense, extreme drug use. Certain drugs are really, really out there. Distribution, of course, I think should be illegal, especially with kids. I'm sorry. Distribution in certain circumstances. I actually think, for the most part, drugs should be legal because it's your choice. However, if we have a problem with people in public where you can't even drink in public and they're shooting up and doing other drugs and smoking crack, it should not be that we put them in jail. It should be that we bring them to a facility where we detox them, where you are helped to get off that drug, to stop it. I mean, that's where I'm kind of at. Now, I do think there's a fine line here. If somebody wants to ingest something, whose business is it? And therein lies the more difficult question. You should be allowed to put whatever you want in your body on your own. Okay, fine. But the government shouldn't be giving you the syringes and the crack pipes. That to me is just insane. Now, here's what's really funny about it. They say that it's to help with racial equity and things like that. That's a quote. And they're trying to claim it's not true. But let me just tell you, all right? If that is the case, and that's what was reported by Daily Mail and a couple other outlets, are they actually, let me just show you what they said right here. The application is online, explains that eligible applicants include state, local, and tribal governments, as well as tribal organizations and community-based organizations, among others. I'm curious if they believe, if they're talking about all this woke stuff, and this is like a left thing. We talked about this in terms of racial equity. If they're not going to give crack pipes to white people, but they do give crack pipes to, marginalized racial groups, crack is bad for you. Crack hurts you. Crack ruins your life. If they're only giving them to certain racial groups, they are ruining the lives of these certain racial groups, not helping them. It's really crazy, isn't it? They say they want to help control the spread of infectious disease and the consequence of such diseases. Maybe these people should be taken off the streets and brought to a facility where they are detoxed or something like that. You can drink. You can't drink in public. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I understand, why we have those laws. It goes back to public drunkenness and, disorderly conduct and things like that. But ultimately, I just kind of just don't give them the drugs. Sure. They say, One of the requirements for recipients of grant funding is to purchase equipment and supplies to enhance harm reduction efforts. These include safe smoking kits that have been the focus of some recent articles regarding crack pipes. Other items on the list were infectious disease testing kits, safe sex kits, including PrEP resources and condoms, syringes to prevent and control the spread of infectious disease. Though the overall purpose of the program is harm reduction, not racial equality, applicants who are granted funding will be expected to develop a behavioral health disparity impact statement no later than 60 days after the funding is awarded. One part of this impact statement is showing the number of people who will be served during the grant period and identify under-resourced populations such as racial, sex, gender, and ethnic minority groups. Let me just break this down for you. This program is going to give various organizations crack pipes, syringes, etc., and they're encouraging them to be distributed among racial, minority groups, gender, and identity groups. So trans people, Asians, Latinos, Black people, what else do you, gender? They're going to be handed these life-destroying tools for drug use, but not white people. The white people, no, you don't get a crack pipe. You don't get a crack pipe, white person. I'm pretty sure white supremacists are cheering for this right now. That's how insane the left, the establishment, Democrats have become. Let me just break this down. They're incentivizing. They want to show the number who will be served during the grant period. I'm sure they'll still be giving white people their crack pipes, but it is this racial equity thing. You are going to have leftist woke types at these facilities being like, we know who really needs the crack pipes, the underserved, marginalized people, racial minorities. And I'm like, maybe none of them should be doing crack. But that brings me to the great story from Snopes. Mostly false. They say, in early 2022, the Biden administration endeavored to advance racial equity by distributing crack pipes to drug users. Mostly false. What's true? A U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Substance Abuse Harm Reduction Grant did require recipients to provide safer smoking kits to existing drug users. In distributing grants, priority would be given to applicants serving historically underserved communities. Oh, I love it! Mostly false, although the crux of everything that was claimed was true. They said this is just one of around 20 components of the grant program, and far from its most prominent or important one. So you're saying it's worse, Snopes? If I was going to, be crass here, it sounds like the Biden administration is trying to give Black people and Latino people crack, which will ruin their lives. You know what's funny? We used to talk about how the CIA, they say, I believe it was the CIA or the feds or whatever, were giving crack out in Black neighborhoods to cause problems for them. Social justice activists complained about how the government did this. Now they're overtly doing it. Look at Snopes. They're like, now priority is being given to underserved communities, underserved in crack pipe distribution. Yo, this is absolutely amazing. And I love how they're like, right-wing outlets reported breathlessly, just the news, the Blaze, and chicks on the right. Yo, I read Newsweek, man. Newsweek is not a right-wing publication, okay? I'm reading Newsweek. Yo, I'm reading My State Line. My State Line is the website for WTVO and WQRF. These are ABC and Fox program affiliates. It's not right-wing, you lunatics. Yo, I feel bad for anybody who still believes the mainstream media. No, that's even a weird thing to say, because this is mainstream media, like Newsweek. Yo, Joe Biden's giving out crack pipes to Black people, and they're arguing it's a good thing. I'm, you know what, man? I just don't even know. Look at this one. The Independent. GOP outraged at $30 million Biden plan to fund crack pipe distribution. Conservative legislators are outraged by recent reports that a Biden administration drug harm reduction program may put some of its funds towards safer smoking kits. Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee wrote to the Department of Health and Human Services expressing grave concerns. Government-funded drug paraphernalia is a slap in the face to the communities and first responders fighting against drugs flowing into our community from a wide open southern border. You know what? Can I just be real with you guys? Let's just break this down. Take it from Snopes themselves, okay? Safer smoking kits will be given to drug users, with priority going to historically underserved communities. You know what's going to... I want you to imagine this. The Democrats fund this. A black man goes into one of these facilities and is handed his crack pipe kit. He then goes outside and begins smoking crack, and an officer walks up and says, "Sir, what you're doing is a crime. You have a crack pipe and you're smoking crack. You're under arrest." And then takes that black man to jail. What is wrong with these people? When you say that you want to help underserved communities, I get it. When you say you want to deal with infection and disease and all this stuff, I totally get it. Then when you go out and give crack pipes to minorities because you're saying it will reduce harm, while still having police arrest said minorities, the Democrats are creating a prison pipeline for underserved communities. And you know what's funny? I'm the right-wing one for pointing it out. I don't want black and brown people, as the left calls them, to be going to prison for doing this stuff. As I said, I think people should be allowed to, engage in, imbibe what they wish. I don't think they should be able to sell it or give it to kids and things like that. And you should do it in the privacy of your own home or in a private facility or something like that. But if they're going to be distributing this stuff that is illegal, what's going to happen when, a minority goes in and gets this kit, leaves, goes under a bridge, and then the cops walk up and they're like, "We got him. You're under arrest." How insane is this? And maybe that's why Snopes wants to try and cover it up and say it's not really happening, or just lie and smear the right. Because Democrats are racist. They've always been racist. They've never not been racist. They're literally the party of slavery, the Klan, and Jim Crow. And it's funny that when these leftists and Democrats are like, the party switched. I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. It's the Democrats who want to give crack pipes to black people. I guess it was in the 80s. It was under it was under, like, not like Republicans are innocent. Don't get me wrong. It was under Republican administrations that crack was being flooded into these neighborhoods. But it's just funny how, like, in the 80s, it's like, did you know the government was doing this thing? How insane is that? Did you know that the government now is overtly doing it and they're being celebrated in the media by the left and defended by Snopes for doing it? Look, I don't have all the answers. I'm fairly libertarian in regards to somebody wanting to do drugs. Absolutely. As I've long stated. So that means I think you should be allowed to buy it. You shouldn't be allowed to do it publicly. You should be allowed to go home, or maybe we should have, facilities that control and regulate how much you can do and things like that. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe giving them kits to go out and do this on their own is not the right approach to it. My understanding is that many of these places where the left is mainly the Democrats are like, see the liberation of drugs, it's worked for people. It's like, what's worked is that they don't treat it like a crime anymore. They treat it like an ailment. So if you're someone who's a drug abuser, they'll try and help you, get you clean. I know a lot of people who are former drug users. They are not happy with having been drug users. They needed help, they got clean, and now they're very, very happy. There's 12-step programs, there's Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's Narcotics Anonymous. People ultimately are better off not doing drugs. Hands down. I just don't think we should be putting people in prison for it. We should be trying to help them. And that being said, unless or until they actually get rid of these laws, this is just going to make everything worse. And on top of that, it's a media play too. Like this, it's how they lie about everything. When the right comes out and says they're giving out crack pipes, well, it's true. And then the media goes, no, they're giving out more than crack pipes. That's the most insane way to do, like, tell someone's like they're a liar. Like some guy is beating his wife, and then he pushes her down the stairs, and then the news reports man beats wife, and then Snopes is like, false. And while the man did beat his wife, he also pushed her down the stairs. How is it false? It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing how they lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, and do things like this. But I have to say, I genuinely believe the goal of the Democratic Party is to create permanent problems. There's a saying that in the nonprofit industry, a good nonprofit should put itself out of business. Nonprofits' goals are to solve problems. Not every nonprofit will be able to put itself out of business. So it's just saying the idea is like if you're like, we want to, end deforestation. Your goal should be to end it, and once it's ended, you're done. Greenpeace wanted to stop nuclear testing and then decided, we're going to be opposed to everything, I guess, and just never end. A good nonprofit says, we have a goal. Once we accomplish it, we out. There are many nonprofits that are like, we want to help children grow up and, live better lives, orphans or something like that. Okay, well, that never ends. There's always going to be kids in need. Unless, of course, you can find a solution to that. I don't know if you can. What we're seeing with Democrats is that they come out and say, we want to solve these problems that we created. And so they have an incentive to maintain those problems. That's the issue with many companies. It's the issue with many nonprofits. To maintain a revenue stream, you cannot become obsolete. The story is that the first light bulb has been lit. The first light bulb has been on for 100 years in a fire department in New York City, they say. And the investors in General Electric were like, dude, if the light bulb lasts forever, everybody buys one and that's it. Okay, well, let's make it so they burn out. So they developed a filament that burned out. That's the story, at least. Planned obsolescence. So you can keep selling the product and keep people hooked on your company. Democrats function much the same way. Destroy lives and then promise to solve the problems they've created. Look at San Francisco. You think this is going to solve anything? Yikes, man. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.